morning, everybody, or should I say good afternoon, everybody. This is your boy D Mac, man. So let's talk. Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to the new subscribers that I got. We growing slowly but surely, and that's cool with me. Like I always state, that's perfectly fine with me. Um, and if you coming in for the first time and checking out this content and you enjoy some of the content, some of the topics and some of my funny TikTok videos, 'cause I love doing TikTok videos. Just hit that subscribe button, man, and join in on what I'm doing, man. I just have fun and I talk about current events and things that's going on. So I appreciate all the support. Let's go ahead and talk about what we need to talk about. So, man, all right. Right now in Texas, it's pretty hot. It's pretty hot. A lot of people are using a whole lot of energy blowing air conditioning and stuff like that. And it's well documented and well known throughout the media that Texas has an issue with our power grid. And we've had issues with things over surges and people being left without power in this heat and sometimes in the cold. 2 winters ago, we had a real pretty bad ice storm, and a lot of people were left without power during that ice storm because of a failure in the power grid. And so now, fast forward a couple of years later, here we are, 2022, uh, kind of post pandemic, and now all of a sudden you have Jeff Bezos who moves Amazon to Waco. I, that's cool. Okay, you're bringing jobs to Waco. It's going to bring a lot of jobs to Waco. They're going to open a warehouse there. Bet. And then you have Tesla, Elon Musk, who's bringing his headquarters of Tesla to Austin, Texas. And so now we have two of the richest people probably in the world right here in Texas in two predominantly large areas. Waco, not so much, but Austin is definitely the capital. So, a whole lot there to be done. And so I posed the question before in a small video, and I was asking, well, are these guys coming in and they're going to bring all of their resources? I imagine they're going to help fix the power grid issue, being that Tesla, run solely basically on power. So there's going to be a lot of power to be taken up. That's a lot of power that's going to be needed and generated throughout our state, which is dealing with the power issue. So that kind of concerns me that they're being all hush hush about what's going to be done about the power grid issue, but they're very public and open about, oh, well, the new Amazon warehouse is going to create 1,500 jobs in the Waco community, and Tesla is going to open up a headquarters in Austin, and this is going to make Texas a contender in the foreign market and all of these things like this. But no, 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 no. Before we get into all of that hoopla and all of that fanfare, let's talk about what this is going to do for the power grid situation that our illustrious governor could not handle. Um, there's a lot going on right now, and people see this as a good thing because they see Elon Musk and they see how much money he generates, and we know that everything nowadays is pretty much fueled by the pursuit of money. The pursuit of dollars is number one on the to-do list in the United States for most people, and this is what's promoted all throughout this country at all times. And so when you say the name Elon Musk, you attach that to a lot of money and a lot of money to be generated. But what does that come with? At what price does that come with? People never look in hindsight. I mean, not hindsight, but foresight. Especially nowadays, everybody's living in the present, so they really don't use foresight for anything. They live in the moment, and whatever happens in the moment is cool, and they'll deal with whatever later, whenever it arises. That's the mindset of most people nowadays. And so we have to have some people that's gonna have the sense to sit back and say, okay, well, yeah, this look good on paper and it sounds good whenever they hype it up in the media. But what are those underlying issues that's gonna come along with this? Is this gonna set off some type of what's it called? What is it when they push people out of an area in order to make it look new and revitalize it for a more desirable group of people? Um, Hey, what is it called? I just had a brain fart. It's such easy. I talk about it all the time, but it's just one of those things. I just explained it well enough for people to understand what I'm talking about. So gentrification. There we go. There we go. So when you see things like this, large entities moving in like this, they're not just going to put their businesses in areas where they're going to be susceptible to crime and high crime rates and stuff like that. And so there's going to be a larger police presence there, which is going to draw away from other areas because Austin is pretty big, and APD got some issues going on with them anyway, but that's neither here nor there. When you have these different demands that are going to be made, all of these different structures that are going to be put up, all of these different property values that are going to be rising, and things of this nature that people don't really throw into the budget factor, then they come as a surprise whenever this big project comes to your area that you were so excited about because you didn't read the fine print. And so all I'm really saying with this video is just, Texas, we need to read the fine print, because there's a lot of small print that's not being spoken and not being verbalized to the people that's going to take place with these large oligarchs moving into Texas. And being in California, California's property taxes and things like that were a major influence on those guys leaving and coming to Texas, because Texas property taxes are a little more slack, a little more lenient than California. And so that also has a lot to play into why these oligarchs have found their way to Texas. So Texans, I'm just saying, we have to be on our P's and Q's and know these things, know what's coming into our environment so that we can know whether to be welcoming or know whether it's something that we need to keep an eye on, because it could potentially hurt Texas. Everything that glitters is not gold. Everything that shines is not a penny. I just made that last part of it. Did it sound good? Okay. All right. But I say that to say this: Texas, yeah, we can't just be letting anybody in, especially with this grid issue. This needs to be adjusted or addressed and fixed immediately, because Texas is growing at a crazy rate. There's a lot of people moving into the state of Texas, and this is just compounding the issue that we have with the grid as it is. And so imagine you bringing in a warehouse in Waco, and then you're bringing in another few buildings and warehouses in Austin, and Houston's still growing. We still got Dallas, Dallas Fort Worth, and all of these other subdivisions in Texas that are taking up a whole lot of energy and a whole lot of resources. Now, I understand that Texas is the land of oil, and a lot of our oil barons are from Texas. And from Texas to Oklahoma, we have all of these big oil drills, and we have these guys with all of this land. And so they've always used fossil fuels as the go-to in Texas, and that was the big thing. And so now we're trying to move to this natural energy kick, and this is bringing a whole different level of pushback, because remember, those oil barons are still here in Texas. They're still capitalizing off of fossil fuels. And so this is doing nothing more than disrupting their money flow. And so we're going to start to see some type of pushback, and we're going to see some retribution with this energy versus oil thing that's going to be going on here in Texas. I mean, It's inevitable, but these are the little things that we don't pay attention to because all we look at is, oh, well, this is going to bring a certain amount of jobs to Texas. So that's always a good thing to have more jobs, but at what cost? At what cost, Texas? That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I really had to say. I don't have a whole lot more to speak on that. I'm gonna go and just keep my eye peeled and study a little bit more on this topic so that I can, possibly get a panel together to talk about this, preferably with people from Texas who understands what's going on here in Texas. I have a buddy who's he's definitely in politics here in the Central Texas area, and hopefully I can get him on or something. I don't know. But I definitely want us Texans in particular to pay attention to these oligarchs who are moving into this state and what that means for us as the people, because at some point when our taxes start to rise and all of these things start to take place, we're going to want to know why. And we're going to have to look back and see some of these oligarchs for what they're really doing to the state of Texas. This is your boy D Mac here in Killeen, Fort Hood area. Yeah, this is going down. But y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.